All right, let's talk about socialization. First of all, what is it? Socialization is the process by which individuals internalize the norms of a given society. So remember that norms are rules or expectations that we have of behavior in everyday life. So socialization is the process where we internalize those norms, where we start to understand them, and we may not even think about them actually. We may go through our day and never really think, oh, I'm acting this way because it's a rule, or I'm acting this way because it's an expectation. Once we internalize these things, we tend to not think about them at all. If you go back to one of the other lectures where I talk about bathroom behavior, and I highly encourage that you watch that, we probably don't even think about it when we go to the restroom in public, the rules that come along with that. That's because we've internalized them. We've been socialized so much that we don't even think about that. There are 6 agents of socialization. This means that there are 6 different ways or 6 different institutions that help to socialize us, to help to internalize those norms that we are participating with or participating in. I'm going to go through them one at a time. Let me go ahead and list them for you. They're family, school, religion, peers, workplace, and the media. So I'm going to go through them one at a time. Family is the first agent of socialization for most people. Now, I want to be very clear that family doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. Family can mean anybody who raised you, people that you feel an attachment to, or it can be literally your biological family. But however it translates to you, or whatever family means to you, think about them. Our family is the first group of people to socialize us. They teach us about gender. Let me give you an example. A custom that we have now in the United States is that when someone gets pregnant, we throw what we call a gender reveal party. So the baby is not born yet, but we're already celebrating the fact that they are potentially male or potentially female. So when we go to a gender reveal party and the cake is cut open and it's pink, that means it's a girl. So then we buy things for girls. Barbies, dresses, pom-poms, kitchen stuff, baby dolls. We buy certain things for girls. If the cake is cut open and it's blue, it's a boy. Then we buy things that we feel like go with boy. Blue things, trains, sports equipment, drills and screwdrivers and workbench sets. We do this before the baby is even born. That's how we socialize gender that early. So we start to mold our new generation into certain roles very early on, and it starts at home with our family. Little girls learn how to be little girls from their moms, their sisters, their aunts, their grandmothers. Little boys learn to be little boys through their brothers, their dads, their uncles, and their grandfathers. Next, we have school. School socializes us in a very different way. School teaches us rights and wrongs, kind of like our parents do also, but then it comes with strangers getting to discipline us. Strangers getting to teach us the rules and expectations of a new place. Sitting still all day long, sometimes for 8 hours. Going to the bathroom with permission. Raising your hand before you talk. We learn these rules so that we can be structured and well-behaved citizens. School socializes us also because we are starting to be around peers, which is another agent of socialization. This really the first time in our lives where we are surrounded by multiple people our own age and not just a few siblings and parents, perhaps, depending on how you grow up. So school teaches us to not question authority unless you raise your hand first. But also we start to learn what it's like to be around a bunch of our peers at the same time in a very structured environment. The third agent is religion. Now, religion is an agent of socialization that's an interesting one because religion socializes you even if you don't practice a religion. Here in the United States, the predominant religion is Christianity. Because more than 70% of the population practice this religion, it tends to bleed over into other aspects of life. So for somebody who doesn't practice Christianity or practices a different religion or no religion at all, they're still socialized by Christianity because it is so dominant in the United States. Religion can teach morals. It can teach us a sense of purpose. Religion also bleeds over into other parts of our lives, like what we can eat, who we can date, when we can date, what we can wear, who we can be friends with, when and if we can get married, and to whom. So religion is also an agent of socialization for those who practice, but also those who may not. The next agent are peers, our friends. Now, our peers are the most important agent of socialization during our adolescence. We learn a ton of things from our peers that our parents and family may not want us to know. How many of you, for example, learned what sex was from your peers and not your parents? Probably a lot of you. Or probably a lot of you learned about other things that come with sex from your peers and not your family. Our peers teach us about loyalty. Our peers teach us about betrayal. Our peers teach us how to be a friend and how to be supportive and there for someone, but also we learn very quickly who our true friends are and how to be a true friend ourselves. The next one is workplace. Now, some of you may have not ever had a job, so this might be new information to you, but the workplace socializes us in two ways. We get socialized by learning the rules of work. We get a handbook, very specifically. Most jobs give handbooks about what we can wear, how we can act, tattoo policies, those types of things. But then we also learn how to do our jobs a little faster and maybe not exactly according to the rules, or a different way that may work better for us or for whatever we're doing. So we learn to kind of skirt the rules sometimes, while also if our boss walks in, we're going to do it exactly the way we're supposed to do it. So we kind of go back to the school thing, the structure, the function of school, and the rules of school, but also we can get away with more stuff because we're a little bit more autonomous in our workplace. Lastly, certainly not least, the media socializes us. We are so inundated with media now. Social media, news media. We have a phone that is a computer, that is a magazine, that is a newspaper, that is all kinds of different things all balled up into one thing. And we are socialized by that particular piece of media because it's usually the first thing we look at in the morning. It's a sense of escape. We tend to find new norms on media. If we click onto Facebook, or probably not y'all because you're young and you use things like Instagram and Snapchat and things I've never heard of, which is fine, but you learn what's new, what's happening, the new trends, the TikTok trends, the songs that are cool. All of those things are ways that we are socialized. We start to internalize all of the norms that we use and that we learn through the media. The other thing about media is that the media has power. When something happens in the world, in the United States, news outlets get to decide what and how to cover it. And then we learn which news outlets that we like to watch, and then we internalize those things that they teach us. So the media is a complicated one, and I will talk about a little bit more in depth some of the things that the media can do in a different chapter. So I will leave it there. So all of those agents again, family, school, religion, peers, workplace, and media are all of the agents of socialization. Lastly, in this section, we'll talk about the difference between statuses and roles. A status is a position with a set of expectations, where a role are the set of expectations, rights, and duties that are attached to a particular status. Lots of words, let me break it down. A status, that position, can be things like mom, student, friend, aunt, whatever. Those are statuses. Those are all things of who we are, these positions that we hold within society. The roles are what come with those positions. So for example, if I go back to mom, because I'm a mom, so I know the roles that are attached to that. Some of the roles are protector. I need to make sure he doesn't die. I also need to feed and clothe him and give him somewhere to live. I also have to discipline him and teach him things. I have to help socialize him so he can be a functioning member of society, hopefully. There are certain roles that come with certain statuses. So as a student, that status comes with roles. You're supposed to study. You're supposed to turn in your work. You're supposed to like the class, right? All of those things are important because we all have different statuses and different roles attached to those statuses, and that's how we interact with one another and we react to those certain statuses. You don't know me as a mom. You know me as an instructor. So my status to you is instructor. Those roles are very different. If I mommed you, you wouldn't appreciate it. If I went home and started talking about Karl Marx to my son, which I do sometimes, he doesn't like it because I'm his mom, not his teacher. So we have to understand and we interact with one another based on those statuses and roles, which help us to socialize and internalize norms as well.